This video is cursed. I'm calling it now. Hello everybody, it is Tom, and welcome. So today we are going to try something a little bit different, which, yes, I know I say that like almost every video, but this time it's true. I mean, it's always true. But anyway, one of the issues with making the comics reaction videos, the Heartstopper comics reaction videos, is that they take a really long time to put together, because first I record myself reacting to the comics, and then I go through and take a screenshot of every single panel of the comics, and then I put those into Adobe Premiere Pro, and then I put the video and the comics together, and then I line them up, and then I move, like, I have it like panning down the comic or zooming in and doing, and it looks good, I hope. But it also takes like days to put that together. So my thought here is that because lately I have like this much time, so I do not have much time lately, unfortunately. But I do still want to continue doing things like reacting to the comics and all that fun stuff. So I thought we would try it this style, which will probably be far less quality visually, but hopefully will still be something worth watching. But we're going to try it, and if it turns out to be an absolute disaster, then maybe we won't do it again. But I figured this is potentially a compromise that we can do. So here, I'm gonna make my my video smaller, and we'll put me over here in this corner. In this corner, I don't know. All right. So as you can see, this is Tapas, one of the places where you can read Heartstopper, Alice Oseman's brilliant comic, which I'm sure you already know, or else you wouldn't be here. For free. So you can read it on Webtoon, you can read it on Tapas, you can read it on Alice's Tumblr. Okay, so last time, if you recall, the gang had finally gone to Paris. We had our bus trip to Paris, we had arriving, and Nick and Charlie sadly not being able to share the same bed in the hotel room, because Tao was trying to be nice to Charlie, but didn't realize that Charlie, in fact, wanted the opposite. And the last thing we had happen was Tara and Charlie had a nice little conversation about how Nick is so obviously in love with him, which, yeah, preach. And Nick spoke French in the ice cream parlor, and I spoke much less good French, attempting to read his lines. And Darcy and the other folks around were stunned, blown away, shocked. Yeah, and we learned that Nick's dad is French, so. So, then we have Nick sits down next to Charlie, offers him a lick of his ice cream eyebrow. I cannot waggle my eyebrows, I think. Let's try. Waggle, waggle. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I do not have that particular skill. You might hear Darla in the background. So, she's in one of those moods where, like, she'll come over to me and be like, pay attention to me, and so I'll reach out for her, and she'll walk away and, like, go to the farthest reaches of the apartment and yowl. Why does no one pay attention to me? Why does no one love me? So you may hear her in the background. Okay, so Charlie has a look at the ice cream, gets ice cream on his nose. It's adorable. Yeah, so that's where we left off with them holding hands. Oh, yeah. And then Tao and Elle come back, and the gang are wondering if anything happened while they were alone at the museum. And the answer is no, nothing happened. They brushed hands a bit, but that was it. Also, I got my hair cut the other day, and I don't like it. I think it's way too short, but it'll grow. Oh, and here comes the sun, just in time to ruin my lighting. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo, messing up my vid. Sun, what are you doing? There's like clouds everywhere, and just this one little break where the sun is coming through, so this is highly illogical. Alright, so we have the boys in... Darla, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, she's also lately done this thing where, like, she thinks there's something... Here, I'll even see if I can show you. She thinks there's something under the mat, where the water bowl is. So like she keeps trying to like get under there and ends up spilling the water bowl because of course she does. Oh, you're so lonely. What's going on, Darla? What's the matter? Oh, you're gonna lay there? Okay, all right, good talk. Anyway, eventually we're gonna get this done. So the boys are in their hotel room. Aled is in a robe, heading out, saying, "Anyone want anything from the vending machine?" And Charlie says, "No, thanks. I'm going in the shower." And Nick says, "I'm okay, thanks." Tao says, or actually, Tao's feet say, "Nah." So we end up with Nick and Tao alone together. Dun dun dun. Drama, 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 drama. The door shuts. Nick is sitting on the bed, like, awkward. And Tao is tapping on his phone, lost in thought. We got, I assume, the sound of the shower going shh. And Nick says, "Hey, Tao, how'd it go with Elle today?" And Tao's like, mm. So Tao, immediately blushing and turning quickly, says, "It was fine." Row, row. "Hi, Darla. Thank you for showing your butt to everyone. Please don't eat my library book." It's my library book. Please don't eat it. Anyway, so Tao says, "It was fine." Immediately all blushy and, like, turning away. And Nick is like, "So, did anything happen?" "Do not claw the curtains, Darla." "What are you doing? Are you and the sun conspiring against me?" What is going on, Darla? Alright, the sun is back. This is going so well. Okay, so Tao says it was fine. Nick says, "So, did anything happen?" Look at these shenanigans. "So, did anything happen?" Tao says, "No. What was supposed to happen? Nothing happened." And Nick is like, okay." So Tao, very blushy and defensive. Got a bit of dot, dot, dot. And then Tao says, "We just walked around the museum for a bit. It was nice." Nick says, "Okay, but have you considered telling her how you feel?" And Tao looks at him. "You don't get it. Elle is literally the most amazing person in the world. She's been through so much shit. Like, I was her friend when she came out as trans, and that was not a fun time for her. She's been through all that, and now she's finally enjoying herself with new friends at a new school. The last thing she needs is me throwing a curveball and messing up our friendship." Which, I get it. Like, I get where Tao is coming from here. I think it's nice that we get to see kind of the purity of Tao's thoughts here, where he's not just attracted to Elle, like, he thinks she is amazing, and he's not afraid to say that. But unfortunately, that's also the reason why he's not willing to go for it, because he thinks that there's no way that she would want to go out with someone like him. And Nick says, "But what about what she wants? Sometimes it's worth taking a risk." Aw, and Tao says, "Why would she ever like someone like me anyway?" What? It's the dentist. Don't bother me, dentist. "Why would she ever like someone like me anyway?" Oh, poor Tao. "She's so cool and interesting and beautiful, and I'm just me." Nick says, "Tao." And Tao says, "I'm going to the vending machine." Shut. Aw, poor Nick. So Nick here, like, trying to reach out. I mean, granted, I think, like, probably reaching out to Tao with this particular topic was maybe not the best plan, because clearly it's a very sensitive topic for Tao. He's just decided that there's no way Elle could ever be interested in him, and he won't hear anything different. Nick, looking a little bit down, and grabs his phone. Aw, sometimes it's worth taking a risk looking at Charlie. I like this. We have Nick posted this picture of Charlie, and Charlie replies with, "You obsessed with me or something?" And Nick says, "Perhaps." So, like, this is out there on Instagram. So, obviously, it's kind of like a jokey tone. Like, "Oh, haha, are you obsessed with me? Perhaps." Even though they're not out to their classmates yet, they're doing this kind of flirting online. Okay, so the bathroom door opens. Charlie comes out, looks, I guess, sees that Nick is the only person left in the room, and says, "What happened?" Looking all cute and damp with his towel around his neck. And poor Nick is like, "I tried to talk to him about Elle, but I majorly fucked it up." And Charlie says, it's not your fault. He's really, really stubborn. Truth. And Charlie says, it's kind of how I felt when I still thought you were straight. Nick says, really? Oh, look, I love this. I love this. So Charlie, with his hair all damp, looks down at Nick. Nick looking up at him like, and then Charlie just messes up his hair. And Nick says, ha 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 ha. And grabs Charlie by the waist and pulls him in. And Charlie says, what? Nick hugs him and then whoop, drops back down onto the bed with him. And Charlie says, Nick. And then we have hi. Hi. And then Nick sits on him, because what else do you do in this kind of situation? Nick, oh my god, you giant rugby idiot. And Nick says, haha, now you're trapped here forever. And then kind of lays beside him instead. And wraps him up in a blanket. Because again, what else would you do? And Nick says, captured. And Charlie says, Nick. Oh, and Nick says, now you have to sleep in my bed. And this is just like insane levels of cuteness here. This whole scene, like, starting with, like, and I love to see this playful side of their relationship. I really hope we get to see this in the next season of the show, and just the show in general, where, like, it's not just about being in love. It's not just about, like, seriousness. It's about the fact that they just have a really good time together and laugh and play and joke and stuff like that. So yeah, I love this whole scene a lot. They go in for a kiss, and Charlie says, that would probably be a bad idea. And we're kissing, and okay, we're really kissing. We're really kissing now. Some serious kissing happening. This is my expert narration. And Nick says, you taste like toothpaste, like the first time we kissed at your house. Yes, and the reason he tastes like toothpaste is because he doesn't rinse his mouth out after he brushes his teeth, which apparently is a thing the youth do. But Charlie says, well, I have literally just brushed my teeth, so. And oh god, here we go. So Nick starts kissing his neck, and Charlie's like, so, what are you doing? And Nick says, kissing your neck, is that okay? And Charlie says, obviously. And the kissing continues, and Charlie says, oh my god. I am very interested to see how this scene goes in the show, if they go this route or not, because like they've kept things pretty chaste in the show, and like this is not overtly sexual or anything, but it's definitely like more amorous than we have seen so far. And Charlie says, you really are obsessed with me. And Nick says, maybe a bit. And while this is going on, Charlie keeps looking at the door and says, Nick, we're going to get caught. We should stop. And Nick says, yeah, you're right. Haha, whoops. And they both sit up, very blushy. And Charlie says, that's probably not how we should come out to Tao. Definitely not. And I agree. Like, one of my least favorite tropes is the secret main couple, or just secret couple in general. Secret couple. I'm sorry. One of my least favorite tropes is where the secret couple kisses and is caught by someone, and then dun dun dun, drama. I mean, it's not terrible. Sometimes that happens, but it's not my favorite. Aw, and then a little bit of snuggling. All right, Paris, day 3. So Nick wakes up yawning. Alid is fast asleep. Tao is fast asleep. Charlie is not there because he is brushing his teeth. Brush. And oh no, there's something on his neck. And Charlie says, oh fuck. So as it turns out, Nick Nelson's neck kissing was a little too thorough, because he has left a love bite behind on Charlie's neck. So we have Nick in bed looking at his phone. Alid's still dead to the world. And we have, here's more French for me. Je suis arrivé à Paris. Mom said we'd be, thank God. Mom said we'd be able to meet up while I'm here. D'accord. Pas encore sûr. Je te tiens au courant. I'm so sorry. Dad, are we going to meet up or not? J'ai besoin de savoir rapidement. As usual, my apologies for my French. So obviously the first one says we've arrived in Paris. D'accord, okay. I know I looked these up at some point, but I don't remember what they meant. But regardless, the point is Nick is trying to meet up with his dad, and his dad is not responding. Yesterday evening, Nick messaged his dad saying, like, hey, so are we going to meet up or what? And dad did not reply. He read it, left him on red. Not cool. Ne cool pa. I'm sorry. So then Charlie from the bathroom, Nick, can you come here for a sec? And Nick comes over, what's up? And Charlie's just like, dot, dot, dot. And shows him the love bite. And Nick gets super flustered. Oh my god, did I do that? And then, I'm so sorry, I didn't even know how to do that. I guess I kissed you kind of hard, but I thought you'd have to do it way longer to make that happen. Oh my god. And Charlie's like, Nick, it's okay. I don't have any clothes that could cover it up. Do you think anyone will notice? They look at each other. Yeah, everyone will notice. Charlie says, it's okay, no one will know it was you. So, in this moment, Charlie's immediate concern is accidentally outing Nick. He doesn't want Nick to be afraid that this will out him in some way. So, like, instead of Charlie thinking about how people are going to treat him about it, he's like, no, Nick, don't worry. Like, his first instinct is to comfort Nick, because, protecting Nick and making sure that Nick is able to come out on his own terms in his own time is at the very top of Charlie's priority list. And Nick says, yeah, but everyone will know you got with someone. And Nick says, I'm so sorry. And Charlie says, no, I mean, I really enjoyed it a lot. And little heart by Mr. Nicholas Nelson there. And then Tao says, what are you two doing in there? And Charlie and Nick are like, And Tao comes in all sleepy, rubbing his eyes. And Charlie, brilliant improviser that he is, says, there was a spider on the ceiling and I couldn't reach it, so Nick got rid of it. And Tao looks at him, and Tao says, how did you get a bruise on your neck? And Charlie says, And Tara says, maybe you should just let it happen. I fell in the shower yesterday, haha. So even in this moment, like, this was an opportunity to tell Tao. It came up naturally in conversation, but Charlie just can't do it. There's a block there. There's something preventing him from telling Tao the truth about him and Nick. So he just lies and says he fell in the shower. And Nick kind of looks at him surprised, and Tao looks at him with the dot, 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 and then yawns and is like, well, that was dumb. But, like, how would you even do that? How would you even, like, get a bruise on your... I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but, like, getting a bruise on your neck from falling in the shower takes some doing. And then Tao walks away. Aled, we have, like, 15 minutes to get ready, so wake up. Aled. I love that Aled just, like, sleeps forever. And then we have Charlie looking a little bit unhappy, and Nick says, you could have told him if you wanted to. And Charlie leans his head on Nick's shoulder and says, it's hard. And then they hug. I'm going to tell him today. Nick says, yeah? Charlie says, yeah. Oh, and here we fucking go. So they're at the restaurant. I'm so sorry. They're at the restaurant. The French restaurant. In their French hotel, where people speak French. And we have random classmates saying, did you see Charlie Spring has a love bite? Who is it from? Oh my god, seriously, that's so funny. They're in England, so I assume they're not talking like that, but I'm giving them Valley Girl accents regardless. Isn't he gay? Who else on this trip is gay? Wait, Charlie Spring has a hickey? What? Oh, that's so gross. Oh my god. Ha 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 ha. So poor Charlie. He's, obviously he's hearing all this. He's hearing what's being said about him. He looks very sad. This is probably kind of reminding him of how he felt when he was being bullied, and it's not a good feeling for him. I mean, people are saying it's gross, so screw you. Okay, so we have welcome to La Tour Eiffel. Is that even how you pronounce it in French? Is it Eiffel? I don't know. Eiffel. Oh, yes. Okay, so we have Mr. Ajayi and Mr. Farouk. So Mr. Ajayi says, you've got until 2 p.m. to explore, so take those stairs at your own pace. And Mr. Farouk, with a sweat drop, wait, we didn't book tickets for the elevator? Mr. Ajayi, no. And Mr. Farouk is like, dot, dot, dot. So this Mr. Farouk is me. Like, Mr. Farouk is me. I don't want to climb up those stairs. I don't want to deal with these crazy kids. And I want a croissant. So, yeah, Mr. Farouk is me. Okay, so here we go. Everybody's climbing. Nick is saying, "Come on." And Charlie's like, "Nick, I'm dying." We have Darcy in the background, like, oh, and Darcy's like, "Carry me." And Tara says, "No." And then Elle and Tao, "We made it." I need to lie down. Alid looks fine. He's just peeking around. There they are at the top. Nick says, "Whoa." And Charlie says, "Yeah." And they look down. They take a selfie together. It's beautiful. Oh, here we go. So then there's a random group of Nick's classmates saying, "Hey, Nick, was that love bite from you then? Ha 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 ha." And Charlie says, "Who are they?" Nick says, "Just some guys from my year." And Nick, the king, says, "Oh yeah? So what if it was? You jealous?" And there's this long pause from everybody, and the dude, I assume the guy who said it, is like, "I'm not gay." And Charlie's just like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," with hearts all around. And now we have our first pivot from Mr. Harry Green, where Harry says, "All right, lads, fucking leave them alone." The guys are like, "What? It's just a fucking joke. Yeah, chill out, mate." So, fascinating turnaround here from the same guy who, at least in the series, is always saying, like, "Oh, take a joke. It's just a joke. It's just banter. Just banter in it." And now is like, "Just leave him alone." Harry's like ushering them away, saying, "Sounds like you're covering it up. Sounds like you're covering up that it was you." And the guy's like, "What? I'm not gay." And Nick says, "Did Harry just try and stick up for us just then?" And Charlie says, "I think he did." Weird. And it is weird, but it's nice. It's nice that he's making. And if you haven't read the Nick and Charlie novella, we do get to see a very different side of Harry in that one during his brief appearance. So I'm wondering if the show is going to also take us along that path of kind of Harry's redemption, but it'll be interesting to see if they give us more in terms of why he makes that turnaround. Because the comics, we don't really see much in terms of his motivation for suddenly changing his tune. So it would be interesting, especially because he's so much more of a bully and so much more at the forefront in the show. So I wonder if we're going to see more of why he makes that transformation. So we have Nick saying, "I was thinking about it, and I don't think I even mind if people find out it was me." Oh. And Charlie, all windblown with his crazy curls. I relate, Charlie, but not today because my hair is super short. "Really?" And Nick says, "Yeah. I honestly think it'd be a relief to just be out." And yeah, I think that's really true. Like, it's really terrifying thinking about coming out, whether you're, coming out as queer, coming out as trans, coming out as non-binary, agender, whatever you're coming out as. It's really scary. It's a really scary thing. But once it's done, there is this immense feeling of relief. Even if it didn't go well, even if people didn't react exactly how you wanted them to, there's still the feeling of like, finally, I don't have to carry this anymore. I can move on to the next phase of dealing with it. So I get where he's coming from here. Okay, and then Charlie says, "I was talking to Tara about it yesterday. She told me how she and Darcy came out, and it made me feel like, oh, we got a boop." I'm pointing with my finger. You can't see my finger. Got a boop. Shoulder boop. And Charlie says, "Even if things are harder when people know about us, we'll be okay because we've got each other." Aw, and Nick hugs him and squeezes him. Nick squeezes him and says, "That is literally the sappiest thing you've ever said." And Charlie says, "Oh god, it really is." I forgot it's the first Tuesday of the month. This video is cursed. I'm calling it now. Alright, well, after this, we get into Charlie heading over to Tao and telling him some things, and then things get more serious for a bit. So why don't we stop here with the fluff, with the squeeze. But yeah, so we'll stop here for now, and we'll see how this video is. If it's not terrible, I might do it this way in the future. Okay, so let's make me big again for a brief time here. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. What are your favorite parts of this part of the comics? Obviously, I love the Paris strip is one of my favorite parts of the Heartstopper comics, and this one has a lot of good stuff in it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you like and your thoughts and what you think we'll see in the adaptation of the show. And yeah, I definitely need to get going on these comics videos because if I don't, the show will come out. The show's coming out in August, so you know we won't be able to speculate anymore. All right, well, thank you to everyone who has watched this video or liked it or commented on it or done whatever you have done. And huge thanks to our patrons who are amazing and wonderful and so very kind and patient with me despite the drought of content lately. But I hope you guys know that your support means so much. And I appreciate you guys so much. And a special shout out to Nick Nelson members, Kelly Walker, and Paul Z. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. So have a great rest of your day, whatever time of day it might happen to be. And I'll see you again. Okay. I have to find the stop button. There it is. All right. Bye. Say you're coming around.